I would like to start this webinar organized in partnership with EHL about the top trends in the hospitality industry. So I'm going to leave the floor to our panel. Today we have with us Fabrizio Tribella, EHL Admissions Officer Team Leader and also an EHL alumni, sorry. And also we have the pleasure to have here with us Mattia Moggi, who is a current EHL Bachelor student. So Fabrizio and Mattia, thank you very much for being with us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lucia, for this introduction and for hosting us. Welcome, everyone. As Lucia already mentioned, we are here tonight to speak about EHL and some tips for admissions and how to rock admissions in general. My name is Fabrizio. I am, as Lucia mentioned, the team lead at the admissions office here in Lausanne, taking care of bachelor applications. And I'm also an EHL alumni. I graduated back in 2011. After EHL, I decided to stay in the hotel industry, but when COVID hit, I had to kind of reinvent my career. And as you can see afterwards through the presentation, EHL helped me a lot, as there was a lot of different changes. And now I ended up at EHL back in my alma mater for since 2021, so a bit more than 2 years now. Sorry, 2022, a bit more than 2 years now. And what about Mattia?
Hello everyone, my name is Mattia. I'm a final year student now at EHL. I'm half Swiss, half Italian. I was raised in Lugano, and I joined EHL in 2020 when COVID was still strong back then. But I managed operational internship in Spain in the front office department for a boutique hotel. And alongside my studies at EHL, I also went to Singapore for an exchange semester at the Singapore campus. And after that, I went on another internship in Paris in asset management. And now I'm a final and I'll be graduating. And yes, feel free to ask in life.
Perfect. Thank you, Mattia, for this introduction. So we will speak to you today about why study hospitality and some insider tips for admissions in general. And I'll let Mattia take over the floor with the first few slides about hospitality management. What does it mean?
Perfect. So maybe let's start by defining the hospitality industry, because the hospitality industry is very vague, but in a closer outlook, like hospitality management in its sense means the oversee of the operations of a hotels, restaurants, resorts, and other hospitality institutions. And as you may have gone to like some hotels, like this includes like managing staff, ensuring customer satisfaction, handling finances, and overall maintaining the quality of the hotel. For example, like there are different departments that make up a hotel, the guest relations, the concierge. So if you want to pursue a career in this field, like you would be exposed to like different departments in a hotel. So it's a very broad type of job that requires a lot of skills. For example, like numbers, dealing with people from different cultures, nationality, language skills. So it's a very complete career, in my opinion. And indeed, hospitality, it's not just about hotels, but it's also about events planning, catering, tourist management. For example, you could also be organizing weddings and corporate events. So really also here again, like you can touch up base in many different fields. And I think as an industry, it's very dynamic. It's one of the most diverse industry that I know of, because it's so vague. There's so many industry that you can go into. So it's a really rewarding career. And yeah. And again, like as I was saying before, it's a very diverse career. It offers a lot of opportunities, and a lot of people, when they think of EHL, they only think of students going into hotels, but this is not the case. It's not the reality nowadays. For example, you could also go into consultancy, into advisory, into asset management, into events, into marketing, into communications. It's very, very open. It leaves you with plenty of options. There are there are agency recruiting from all type of companies. And so by the time, like for example, like when I started EHL, I didn't have quite a clear I mean, I thought I would join the hotel industry, but by the time you join EHL, like you do spend 4 years here in Lausanne or with international exposure, you get the chance to really meet deep inside the industry and know of positions that you might have not even thought at the beginning. So it's very surprising, eye-opening in terms of really like us, in terms of what career you can pursue. And if you're like me, like a travel and you really like to go abroad, like get out of your comfort zone, it's again the right industry to go into because hotels are everywhere. There are international chains established in all 5 continents. So it's really a type of career that allows you, if you want to, of course, to travel. For example, I did my 2 internships in France and in Spain, and I also went to Singapore. So just in 4 years, I was able to like live in different countries, including Switzerland, which is amazing. I think no other university offers this type of international outlook. And finally, it's a really fast-paced environment. The hospitality industry really needs to stay on top of the trends. It cannot stay behind because otherwise clients will not choose you as a hotel or as an industry. So it really needs to be inclusive of all the trends, and it also kind of needs to anticipate them if they want to beat the competition. And some skills that are essential in the hospitality industry are the soft skills. So the ability to communicate not just to your boss, but also to be able to take on a leadership team, on a leadership position. So to be able to communicate the right way and to your team, and also to inspire them to follow a common vision and purpose. But it's also the ability to communicate with people coming from a lot of different countries, because again, it's a very diverse, also EHL. I think we have over 150 languages. I lost track of how many nationality languages we speak here at EHL. So it's really an opportunity for you to get to know other cultures, other people that have a different background from yours. And of course, you have to be customer friendly. You have to like service. You need to like people and to be able to find a solution for any type of complaints they might have, especially in the operational internship, if you decide to work in guest relations or in the front office department. And of course, as you can imagine, hotel guests, they can be challenging. So you have to be adaptable as well. As an industry as well, like you have to accommodate different needs, and being so evolving as an industry as well, you need to be flexible, stay on track. So it's not at all a static career, and there are always a lot of opportunities that you can jump into. And hospitality, I think we can all agree that it's a team effort. So it's not just one person achieving a goal, but this is done through a team, which can be from a small one, for example, startups, to a bigger one. And at EHL, you will also have the opportunity to work in a lot of group projects where you have to work coupled with maybe like 5 other students from different countries and cultures. So you really have an opportunity to expand on all these skills. And finally, there are many more skills, but for sake of time, we'll cover the problem solving. Again, the hospitality management requires quick thinking to address issues and ensure great satisfaction, because at the end of the day, you want customers to come back, and you want to stay on top of, you want to be an industry leader in the hospitality and other sectors as well. So you really have to be proactive and anticipate any needs.
Yes, thank you very much, Mattia, for this introduction. And I do completely agree with everything Mattia says just now, how he explained it. And one thing that I can add now from an alumni perspective, having graduated nearly 13 years ago, I must say that when I look back on my time at EHL, I came in on my first day of EHL. And when I compare myself with my last day at EHL, when I graduated, I was a completely different person, because EHL is not only about the theory that you will learn, but as Matthias said, with the group work, the problem solving, everything, you will become a different person. You'll be able to develop yourself completely with different soft skills, and all those soft skills that you actually use, that you can use them in any industry afterwards. It's not only just in the hotel and restaurant industry, because 95% of the chance that in the end, when you graduate, when you go to work, you will be working with or for other people. So all those skills are so crucial to this industry and to your career also, that can set you apart if a company has to choose between an EHL student and a normal university student, if I want to classify it like this, where 80% is done on individual work. All those skills, they take time to learn, and that's the development, the personal development that you will be having here at EHL, being all the time surrounded in those groups, doing the group work and in the campus life with committees. You really have the chance to really get into real life and really get all those little competitive advantages already compared to other students. And well, why EHL? Well, not only because of the personal development that you will be going through all during the 4 years, but also EHL's teaching style is very much rewarded and recognized all around the world. We have been ranked #1 as a hospitality management university for several years now in a row. We have a double accreditation, so for the European system and the American system. So for students who want to pursue a master's degree after the bachelor at EHL, that is an option depending on the master's you're looking for, but you can easily pursue a master in communication and then work in the PR department of another company. And we also have just recently received the very prestigious AACSB accreditation, which is a company that accredits the best or highest quality business schools all around the world. And we're very honored and very happy to be part of this very exclusive network that really demonstrates the teaching skills and the teaching quality at EHL during the whole 4 years. And yeah, as Mattia mentioned, a lot of group work, but a lot of hands-on practical work too, because in all the subjects that you will have, Mattia can confirm that most probably this hasn't changed. Every subject you will have group project where you kind of apply right away what you learn in a group setting, in a group teamwork. And this will be a very important part during the whole 4 years, because it also counts towards your final grade. So you see, it's really all integrated, all in one education at EHL during the 4 years. I'll hand over to the next part, actually, and would like to give you some insider tips that apply not only to the application to EHL, but this can be generalized to all different applications you might do in all of your career, for other universities, for jobs, etc. So a few of the most important tips is, of course, do your research, know what you're getting into. If you're applying for a job in a company, at least do some research, have a few facts ready should you be asked, so that you can show the company that you have research, that you're motivated to go there. Also, own your own application, meaning do your application on your own. Don't ask someone else to do it or to do it for you. Here at EHL, you'll see afterwards we'll have an essay that you have to write. And when I say own your application, I mean write your own essay, and don't ask ChatGPT to write it, because trust me, we can see that if a student has used ChatGPT, at the very latest stage at the interview, we will know, and we can kind of deduct if the student has written the essay or someone else or ChatGPT. Also, as EHL is located in Switzerland, here in Switzerland, you might know that, but we are very punctual. And actually, we say, if you are on time, you are already late. So be professional and respect the deadlines, respect your assignments, do them in a timely manner, not just for us, again, really also for other jobs, other applications that you might do. And as Matthias said, be proactive, take initiative. Ask questions if you have. Don't wait until the very last minute, because this can also show a job or another university or even us that you're interested and that you want to know and prepare yourself better. And how can you prepare yourself for your application at EHL? You can talk to current students like Mattia. You can talk to your recruitment officer. If you're in contact before you submit, you'll be able to ask your recruitment officer all the questions. You can try to find out if you know anyone who graduated from EHL to get kind of the feeling of them. You can come and visit a campus for a private visit if you can't make it for an open day. So there are several ways of being proactive and really showing your motivation. When we say do your research, what do we mean? And again, doesn't only fit to EHL, but especially for EHL, you will really have to understand what is EHL all about and is it a good fit for you? How can you find that out? Look at the websites. You will see that there are internships, that look at the student life, look at different social media platforms where you can find informations or videos. And why do I say you have to find out that EHL is a good fit for you? As mentioned, EHL is really a special place because compared to a traditional university, you will be doing most of the time group work. So you have to be aware that you will have to do group work, and you have to be aware that you have to be constantly around and working with people. So if the student then tells me, oh, I don't really care about other people, that EHL might not be the right fit for that student, and that student might not be very happy here at EHL. So this is also why we do an admissions process beforehand to make sure we select and recruit the good students who have a good chance of finishing EHL, because our aim is that everyone who starts can graduate from EHL, and we are currently at a graduation rate of 84%. That shows that our approach is not a bad approach, and that most of the students that start EHL actually also graduate with the diploma in the end. Prepare for the interview. How can you prepare for the interview? We know that most of the students who apply for EHL might not have had any interviews beforehand, and please be assured we in the admissions department, we know, especially I know, I have been through that process. It's a bit scary, but how can you prepare? Well, you can maybe try to do mock interviews with your friends or family and get feedback from them. Have a look at what is the dress code at EHL, that you respect the dress code. And also, if you have concrete examples, don't be shy to share them with us and elaborate and give us hands-on experience if you have. That is also really valuable, because then we can see, okay, you really got the concept when we ask you for a specific situation. Now, I don't know if Mattia remembers his interview process, but how was the interview for you? I suppose it was one of the first ones that you had also in your career.
Yeah, exactly. So also for me, it was all new, this kind of interviews. I had it 4 years ago, so I don't remember the exact questions. I can't tell you guys. But some tips I could give you is again to like do your research, to also like, but besides doing research about EHL, also kind of think what questions we might ask or EHL might ask to you. It's not gonna be hard rock science. It's going to be probably questions that test your motivation. So really, what we want to see is that you are eager to join EHL. You have a base understanding of the hospitality industry, and this is also a way for you to really assess whether you want to be part of the EHL family. And also interviews, take it as an exercise. Maybe if you're a bit more anxious, you can also train a bit with your friends, with your parents. You can ask them to kind of like simulate an interview, so you know how to respond on the spot, because you won't have much time to process and think. This is also when research comes helpful. And yeah, be yourself. Don't be afraid to show your personality, and be confident as well in your answers. And again, if you are from Switzerland, for example, come to one of the open days. This is what I did. And this is also like where I really got a taste of EHL vibes, energy. So really like to kind of have already an overview of what the environment is, and whether you like it. And yeah.
And Mattia, if I ask you now, how do you feel about job interviews? Does that still scare you, like when you had your EHL interview, or now that you've been through the process several times that you're graduating soon, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, actually, thank you for your question, because I was going to mention one point which I forgot. But this is just going to be the first interview. Then your EHL, you will have to go through 2 other internships. So again, you will have a lot of training for interviews. And this is of extreme value, I have to say, because you will learn how to sell yourself, how to talk to recruiters. And at the end of the day, like, this is the most important aspect, because you're here to get into the work industry. And so you really have a lot land on a job after graduation. So right now I'm much more confident when having interviews, and I completely see a progress over 4 years ago.
Thank you for sharing this. That's what I meant with the personal development during the four years at EHL. So Mattia is a good example also for that. Now, for the next slide, during your application process at EHL, we will actually ask you to write an essay. So I have a little video here to show you some tips to how to write a good essay, which I'll just quickly, hopefully, play now.
Wait a minute, are you writing your essay? We read a lot of essays. So in order for you to distinguish yourself from the others, make sure you use your own words and tell us who you are. That's what we want to know, not the words that you think we expect. At some point, we will read your essay and question you about it. So make sure you write it yourself. Try not to implicate your friends and your family at this point. However, you might want them to proofread your essay. To sum up, be genuine, do it yourself, and proofread it. Good luck.
So there you could see a few tips about your essays. And as I mentioned at the beginning, my colleague Mikael also mentions it in the video. Write the essay yourself, use your own words, because we will most probably ask you questions about the essay during the interview. So make sure you know what you write, and you make sure you know what you wanted to say in case we need a little more information from you. And as he was very clear, also make sure you ask someone to proofread it, because I must say my brain is very special. When I see one spelling mistake, my brain actually switches off and actually looks for other spelling mistakes instead of continuing reading whatever is written. So make sure there are no spelling mistakes on the essay, especially if you write it on the computer, you have all the tools that you need to make sure there's no spelling mistakes. Then for the application process, how to apply at EHL. This is a little more technical, so I'll go through the 3-step process that we have. The first step is an application that you have to do online, where you sign up, create a profile, and then you submit different documents that we need in order to be able to assess your eligibility and continue the application process. This would be passport, your essay would be, for example, in the first step, and also your transcripts of the last 3 years in high school, so we can understand whether or not, academically speaking, you are eligible for EHL. Because given the fact that we are accredited with the Swiss HESSO consortium, we have to follow several rules that they made, that they dictate, kind of, and that's why we need to verify if your diploma is eligible for EHL. We accept most of the diplomas all around the world, and I'll have 2 examples in this presentation. Should you be in another case, feel free to ask at the end in the Q&A, or send us an email on our admissions email, which will be shared in a bit, and then we can go from there. Once the admissions officer has determined your academic eligibility, so if everything is fine with you, we can go forward in the application process and send you a link for an online recorded interview where you have to answer 3 questions in front of your computer and record yourself in front of your computer, and also some aptitude tests, which are numerical, logical, and behavioral based questions. Look at this more like a little, logical test with 3 pictures, which one is the 4th one, some basic calculations, etc. After having completed both of those exercises, we will be able to invite you for an interview, as Mattia and myself went through the interview process too. It will be a 30-minute interview conducted with either one staff member, so it could be someone from admissions, from recruitment, could be a chef, a professor, and one of our student ambassadors, to have 2 opinions, so you can meet 2 persons also and ask any questions you might have at the end of the interview. After the interview day, you should have a final answer from the admissions commission, who will then look at all the 3 steps to determine whether or not you are accepted at EHL, and if yes, under what condition you are accepted. And as if everything is completed on time, like we suggest, this whole process from the moment that you submit the application until you get the final answer should take about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, you might ask yourself, when should I apply? We recommend to apply as soon as possible, but be aware that you have to be 18 years old when you start the program at EHL. But you can also only apply once you have started your final academic year, meaning when you are in your senior year. Why? Because we need to be able to evaluate your academics correctly, and for certain diplomas, we can only assess the eligibility once you are in your final year. Hence why we request you to apply once you're in your final year. We have always several intakes open. We have the September 2024 intake that is still open, where the deadline is June 16th for the application. And we also have an intake, a semester starting in February, which is exactly the same, just 6 months later, but it follows the same path, 4 years, same courses. And for the February intake, the deadline is December 10th. If you should you require a visa to study in Switzerland, then the deadlines are shorter. So for the September intake, the visa application deadline is end of May, so that we can do the process quickly and allow you enough time to request your visa and do the process, because this can take up to 3 months. Now, for the requirements, what are our requirements? As mentioned, I will show you the two of the main diplomas. Should you be in another situation, feel free to contact us at admissions@ehl.ch or ask us at the end of the presentation, and then we can see if we have enough time to answer all the questions. But for all of you who are studying in the IB diploma, we will need the full IB diploma with at least 3 EHL subjects and at least 28 points, including bonus points. Then we also accept the esame di Stato from Italy, where you will have to obtain the esame di Stato with a 7 out of 10, and we accept all streams except the Liceo Artistico, because there is no mathematics. And here at EHL, as it's a business school, we have kind of a high level of mathematics, and some students might struggle with it, hence why we can't accept the art stream. But most of the streams are accepted. And again, if you have questions, if you're not sure, feel free to reach out to us by email, and then we can have a look at your situation. Also, as EHL is taught in English and French, we also need English. We also have English requirements. So in order to be able to start EHL, you have to have a minimum of IELTS 6 level, and we accept the main English tests such as IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge Advanced. We also do accept online tests such as Duolingo or TOEFL Essentials. Now, should you study the IB or A levels or American high school or any bilingual diploma in English, or when you have studied most of the subjects in English for the past 3 years, then you're exempt from those tests. You don't have to submit it when you apply. However, should the admissions see that your English level might be of a level of concern, then usually we reserve us the right to request an English certificate within the conditional acceptance should you be accepted. This could, for example, mean you're accepted at EHL under the condition that you graduate with your Italian Maturità, and you get a IELTS certificate with the required scores. Now, this is all for us for presentation-wise regarding EHL, why EHL, and the admissions criteria and process. Now, do you have any questions for us? Feel free to ask us in the Q&A, and Lucia will read us the questions out loud.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio and Mattia, for this presentation. We actually do already have some questions in our Q&A box. We actually invite our participants to keep on writing them on the Q&A box, because we still have time to answer them all. Also, remember that when we finish with the event, we are going to tell you the procedure to obtain the certificate of attendance issued by Docsity. So, as I said, we have different questions. The first one I would like to read is if there are internship opportunities during the studies.
So I'll start first, as I'm a bit the older one. So yes, there are internships, and they were already mandatory when I was a student. And when I say mandatory, it means that the first year DHL is very practical, hands-on in the hotel and restaurant industry, where you go through several workshops for 6 months at school. And this will help you then determine where you would like to do a 6 months operational internship. And in my case, I wanted to go far away, so I went to Tahiti and did a reception internship for 6 months. Then you come back after this internship and start your theory courses, which are called BOSC, as we abbreviate them, for Bachelor of Science, where you have maths, statistics, economics, revenue management, marketing, etc., all those courses. And after 3 full semesters of theory, you have a second internship that Mattia also mentioned. And I, from my part, decided to stay in the hotel industry. But for the second internship, it's a management or administrative internship. So for the first internship, I did a reception internship. And for the second one, I went into the rooms division management internship. So really like managing the reception, housekeeping, and bellboys, having projects a bit for all the 3 departments to really get that management aspect that you learn, because most of our students, when they graduate, they will end up in those management positions. Now, maybe Mattia, can you also rephrase what your internships experience are?
Yeah, so similar to Fabrizio, for my first one, I also worked at the reception. But however, I went in Spain, and it was a very nice hotel because it was a boutique hotel, and it was like a yoga retreat. So there was a lot of wellness, mindfulness. There was a vegan restaurant. So there are a lot of different type of hotels that you can end up into according to your preferences. And for the second one, I did asset management, always for hospitality. So I went to Paris, and basically what the company is about, they own hotels. They own very prestigious hotels all over the world. And in Paris, we were overlooking for the European and American portfolio. And basically we had to do more like back office type of work, for example, writing reports about the analysis about performance, preparing budgets, forecast of revenues of the hotel. So it was mainly like analyzing, so like as an analyst, but also about writing reports and preparing presentation, pitches. So it was of a different nature compared to the operational one. But for example, in the second internship, you can really do a lot of different things. For example, I had friends who went to work in events, or in conference and banqueting, or in finance, but at a property level, or for also like startups, for example. So there is a lot of different fields that you can go to. It doesn't necessarily need to be hospitality. And also, again, like the job description, like what you can do is also very broad. So for example, if you are thinking of doing into marketing, you can also touch up on that, which is very nice because it allows you to explore some areas before finding a job after EHL.
Yes, thank you, Mattia. And I know it's not really an internship, but can you maybe tell the audience a little bit about the final project that EHL did? You're in the middle of it right now. Just broad, just to understand that it's also kind of a work experience, but it's not an internship, but still it's work experience. What is the final project about?
Yeah, of course. So as a final, in the final semester, you will have the opportunity to either choose to do a bachelor thesis. So as maybe 99% of the university offer about a topic of your interest, or you can do a consulting project with a real company, so external companies, for the duration of 9 weeks. And here again, you can talk to companies, you can pitch to companies if you have a company in mind, for example, a specific project you would like to develop on. And then if it works out, you will do the project with them. Otherwise, EHL like has some contacts, so you can do the project with them. I'm currently on the project right now, so I'm in my fourth week of ninth week, and last week, actually this Monday, I just came back from New York. We went to the United States because our client is based in New York, and we're working for a hospital, for a public hospital in the US. So I never thought I would end up doing a project in the healthcare industry, but it's extremely helpful, and they're really on the look for hospitality students because now also like the healthcare industry is focusing very much on the patient experience, on the aspects that it can deliver to its patients to improve their experience, and yeah, so it's extremely interesting. When we went to New York, we spent 3 days visiting the hospital, like the different departments, talking to many stakeholders from the CEO to chief nursing officer to kind of understand and assess what the challenges are in the hospital, and what are some ways we could perhaps improve the experience. And also here, the project, it's in the healthcare industry, but it's very broad again, because, for example, we can touch up on recommendations that, for example, are a bit more creative, maybe also like more in the direction of marketing. For example, we could propose to rebrand the hospital, work on their social media, work on their websites to be more attractive in the eyes of the patient, like review and negative reviews, comments, and or for example, like for some people who are a bit more also into architecture, because I mean the range of things you can do is very broad. You can a bit rework the spaces of the hospital, the waiting room. Maybe you can make recommendations about the furniture. This has all an impact on the patient experience. And so yeah, again, this is an example of a type of project you could be doing at a hospitality school, which perhaps you could not think of at the beginning. Yeah, I have also a lot of friends who are working on different projects, for example, with Starbucks, with Accor, with the banking sector as well, to improve the customer experience there. So yeah, if there are many ways you can apply your knowledge into almost all sectors, actually.
Thank you very much for sharing this, Mattia.
Thank you, Mattia, and also Fabrizio. And regarding always internships, we have a couple of questions that just arrived asking if the way to find these internship opportunities are sponsored by EHL. Does the school help you find the internships, and also if it is possible to do some kind of internship or part-time work during the studies and also during the summer holidays and the summer break?
Yes, so I'll start answering, then I hand over to Mattia for the second part. But yes, EHL, as I mentioned at the beginning, is all about personal development, meaning that we support you, that we give you the tools, but we will not hand you your internship on a golden platter. You have to go through the process to get this experience, to get maybe also a few refusals, to understand, oh, what did go wrong? What do I have to change? But you will have access to the job platform that is exclusively for EHL students, where a lot of internship opportunities are posted every year. You will also have access to career fairs, which is held once every semester on campus here in Lausanne. And a career fair, you will find over 150 different companies coming to EHL from different sectors, as Mattia mentioned, banking, health insurance, supermarkets, hotels, restaurants, startups, to recruit EHL students, but also recruit EHL graduates or young graduates. And you will be definitely able to work during your school. I myself dedicated 1 day a week to work as extras in restaurants, but I'm sure even nowadays EHL students are very much requested for special events. Maybe Mattia, do you have any experiences? Do you know any friends that worked for Montreal Jazz? Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's also very valid, and a lot of students also work during the summer period. And in Switzerland, there are quite a few opportunities as well, which they pay compared to other country is it's pretty good. It allows you to cover basic needs. And so yes, also like for example, I did Montreux Jazz, and also to jump back for finding an internship, like EHL has a very extensive network, and we also organize, I think, over 500 events per year on campus, many of them being networking events with industry professionals coming in and, for example, giving them out business cards. So there's a lot of opportunities and ways you can also find an internship. So yeah, it's very great. Both of my internships I found them through EHL actually, and most of the people do so as well.
Thank you, Mattia.
Thank you very much for your answers. We still have a couple more questions. You were mentioning, Fabrizio, the English requirements to access to EHL, but also we have questions regarding the possibility of improving the English while studying at EHL, and also what would be in your opinion, the English level requirement to initiate in the restaurant service?
So basically for the English requirement, as I mentioned, we are looking more, when you start the preparatory year with the different workshops, we are looking into a level of an IELTS 6.0, which is about a Cambridge Advanced with the grade C, just to give you a little idea. And then, of course, the preparatory year, the first 6 months on campus, they are exclusively in English. So even the French section students who decide to do the bachelor course in French will study and will do the workshops in English, and the groups will be mixed. Once you come back from your internship, you will then start your theory courses, and all the courses, all the group work is done in English, because if you're applying for the English section, doing it in English. And trust me, just by having all the classes in English, you will definitely be able to improve your English language skills. In my case, I started EHL after a gap year, as I didn't really know what to study. So I hadn't spoken English in over a year before I started EHL. So I was a bit afraid of my English level on how I would get through. And in the end, after 4 years, when we did our final project, as Mattia is just doing now, I was actually quite amazed on how the English level has improved, on my confidence in my English level has improved over the 4 years. Now, hopefully that answers the question, but yeah, at least you need an IELTS 6 to start, and then you will continuously be improving your English level, not specifically with English language courses, but given the fact that all your classes are taught in English and all the projects will be handled in English.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio. Actually, that's a very important part about learning a language, putting it in practice, right?
Yes.
So we still have more questions. Anna is asking if there is a limit of age to apply for the courses at EHL.
So Anna, the only limit of age that we have is the starting age. You have to be 18 on the first day of classes. We have students, or we have people contacting us who are maybe in their 30s, who would like to do a bachelor after a conversion or after a first bachelor. This is definitely possible. It's rare because the average age of EHL students is 19 to 20. So those persons, we usually say there's no age limit. So they just have to be aware that all the group works will have to be done with students who are way younger than them. But it's a possibility. Then we recently had a request of someone who is 36 years old with a lot of work and professional experience in the hotel industry that would like to get one bachelor degree to confirm the knowledge. In this case, for example, we have looked at his CV, and we actually rather suggested that person to do, instead of the bachelor, that is a 4-year full-time program, rather maybe opt for an MBA that might be more suitable for that person, because the MBA can be done next to work, and it's also 80% online. So this person doesn't have to stop working to do 4 years at EHL. They can do an 18 months MBA online and still continue working at maybe a little lower percentage to also focus on the schools. We have different programs available, and we always try to find the best fit also for the student when they contact us. Hope that answers the question.
We hope it does. If it doesn't, Anna, let us know if you need some further information. Thank you very much, Fabrizio. You were talking about MBA online programs. We actually have a question here asking if it is possible to study online, and if not, if you offer accommodation. So you were mentioning the online MBAs, but in the other levels, do you offer online programs?
The Bachelor program, given the fact that it's very hands-on and very group work focused, there is no online possibility. You have to be on site. And at EHL, we do have accommodation available for on-campus. Dorms are available, single and double rooms. There's also a few furnished apartments next to EHL. Basically, think of EHL, the school, as a little village where you have all kind of things. You have rooms, you have, we have 12 outlets here at EHL, several restaurants, bars, there is a gym, a swimming pool, a lot of sports facilities. So it's really like a little village outside of Lausanne. So there is definitely accommodation possible. And for the Bachelor, it's only on campus. There's no online possibility for the Bachelor program.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio. Then here we have an interesting question. Do you think, since we are promoting the courses in hospitality management, do you think management requires a natural talent or everything can be learned?
I would say not necessarily talent, because it's a lot of learning by doing. And I say that from experience, having started my work career in the hotel industry after EHL. I have worked my way up from front desk agent to night manager in a bigger hotel, handling all the emergencies and requests on my own. So definitely you have to be passionate to be able to do it, because I say passionate because you have to be passionate and you have to want to work with people, because that's all the I would say the essential part of the hospitality industry is not about the hotel and restaurant, but it's really working with or for people. So as long as you are passionate about working in people, in a team environment, meeting with people, etc., then I think nothing can stop you. Of course, you will acquire experiences. Of course, you might fail sometimes. You might take some decisions that were not right, but that's how you learn. That's how you improve. And this is something that you have to keep in mind. I wouldn't say it needs to be talent, but rather passion for people and for the working with people.
Thank you very much. Of course, making mistakes is part of the process of learning and getting always better. So we arrived to the part when we need to talk about funding for international students and the possibility of having some kind of scholarships.
Yes, so that part is also a good question. Thank you for raising that part. At EHL, we do offer some financial aid options. They are need-based. However, we are not able to offer full scholarships, just so that we are clear from the beginning. The maximum that we can support students with is about 25% of the tuition fees for the 4 years at EHL. And also, it is very important to note that financial aid is never guaranteed. Basically, if you get financial aid for the first year, that doesn't mean that you will get another financial aid year for the second and the third year. You have to reapply every year because situations can change. And we really would like to support students who really need the finances. We do ask students to fill out a little Excel budget for the 4 years, but also disclose some financial information from their sponsors. Sponsors could be parents or family, friends, etc. Just to understand, is there a financial need? What is the situation? Of course, they will also need to write a motivation letter on why they should be considered for the financial aid. If it's a request that is feasible, they will go through a little interview to, again, get a bit more information about their situation so that our 2 persons who are in charge of those interviews can get more info about the background, about the situation, about finance of the family, challenges you're facing, etc. And voila. The important to understand is, as mentioned, we can't support a full scholarship. The maximum that we can give is 25% over the 4 years studies at EHL. And should you need too much financial aid, we also will let you know in case it's not feasible. Meaning, if you are asking for, let's say, 75% financial aid, there is a big chance that we will not be able to support you. Because why? Is because we don't want to give you false hopes that we give you the financial support for the first year, and then during the second year you might have to stop the studies because you realize, oh, I really can't afford it, and then you have lost a lot of money and also 1.5 years for something that you don't get a diploma for. That's why if we tell you that we might not be able to support you, it's not because we don't want to, but it's because we don't want you to lose your time and a lot of money if you already need a lot of money. I hope that is understandable what I was trying to say.
I think it is actually a good idea, just to make sure that the participants are going to be able to continue their studies, and also they're not going to waste their resources and their time, maybe starting a year and then having to interrupt. So
yes. If I may just add, sorry, Lucia, if I may just add, financial aid requests can be submitted as soon as you are accepted to EHL. So should you decide to apply to EHL, you can let your admissions officer know that you would like to request financial aid. Admissions officer will send you the different documents to read through, to start filling out, compiling the documents that you need, as this can take some time. And once you have a final decision that is positive, at that moment, we can then submit your complete financial aid request to the commission, who will then review it. This way we optimize the time, and you can start preparing it already so that it's ready once you get the final decision from our side.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Fabrizio. So we have finished the questions in our Q&A box. So before we close, I would like to invite you, Fabrizio, and also Mattia, to share a final message with our participants to encourage them to apply to EHL.
I'll let Mattia go first, as he's a current student, and then I will give my old man opinion after.
Okay, I think as a final message, I can transmit that EHL so much more than just university. It's really a school of life. You get to grow as a person, grow together as a team. And I think another point to keep in mind when you're selecting university is also what it gives you after. And I know EHL from a lot of alumni, it is the network, the family, the connection. And it's really a type of family, like as soon as you know that someone and the EHL, you can have this connection that the school was able to install from very early on into the stage. And so I'm extremely looking forward myself to graduate, but I know that EHL will still always be within me. And when every time I meet people with EHL, it will feel like I'm again on the school campus, surrounded by this energy and this passion and
Thank you, Mattia. And I was going to say something very similar. I also think, well, EHL for me, it's maybe a bit cheesy to say, and I don't say it because I'm here now, but it was really the best 4 years of my life. If someone would ask me if I would do it again, I would definitely do it again. Of course, I would change a few things, but overall, the experience during the 4 years, everything that I learned, all the people that I got to know, is very valuable for your future. Even if you end up not working in the hotel industry, look at me, I'm now in education, I was in health insurance, I was in hotel, but with the same bachelor. I graduated with the same bachelor, as we only have one. And all those skills that I mentioned at the beginning, the soft skills, the personal development, all this can be transferred. And I have so many friends who are doing so many different things now. Some are working for the big four finance companies after a master's degree in finance. One of my best friends, she is actually independent now. She works for her own company. We have a lot of students also who build their own companies. Another student, another good friend of mine, she actually came with me to the second internship at the same hotel. She was doing the internship at concierge, and now she's actually working on her PhD in service marketing. So you see, you have so many different options available after EHL. That is really something that is that shouldn't be forgotten, because yes, it is a good experience and a good learning to be able to really work with people, because that's the essence of our bachelor, is really the hospitality aspect, meaning people focused, people centric.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio and Mattia, for your kind words. Do you have already on the screen the website to find more information and apply? Also, the QR code that you can scan with your cell phone, so that you can access to all the information. Remember that especially if you need a visa, you need to apply before May 31st. So time is passing by. The earliest you start getting information, the better, especially if you come from overseas. So right now on the chat, I am putting the instructions to, okay, here they are. You will find on the chat instructions and the link to obtain the certificate of attendance issued by Docsity. You have to answer to a quick survey. Just would like to know how do you find this online event, and you will receive the certificate of attendance directly in your inbox. So I would like to thank you very much to Fabrizio Trivella and also to Mattia Moggi and to EHL to offer us the opportunity to organize this online event together. Also to our participants, especially to the ones who stayed until the end for your participation. You are going to receive tomorrow the thank you email with some information of the EHL and also the registration of this event. My name is Lucia, and on behalf of Docsity, I thank you again for being here with us today and stay in touch for the next events organized by Docsity. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Lucia.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Bye.
evening.